Fucking hell. Oh my god. This is fucking incredible. I've never seen anything like it. I feel like this is the album I've been searching for my whole life. Hello, welcome to this video. My name's Dan, aka Lucian. I'm a music producer and songwriter, and today I'm going to be reacting to The Hounds of Love by Kate Bush, so let's go! Okay, hi guys. Yes, I am one of those terrible millennials who is only now discovering Kate Bush for the first time, but hey, I had heard Kate Bush before, I just hadn't really dug in. But anyway, so I did this first reaction, like a discovery video, like I like to do, discovering a new artist, do a variety of songs, that kind of thing, all my dad's suggestions, and they skewed quite early because my dad is an old man. He's retiring today. Oh my god, yeah. Anyway, congrats dad. Woo. He would appreciate that. And so a lot of you were like, you need to listen to The Hounds of Love, the full album, because like that's the kind of album that is most Kate Bush for a lot of people. So that's what I'm going to do today, is listen to the full thing. Yeah, I mean, my impressions of Kate Bush so far has been amazing. Like, she made me cry, she made me laugh, she made me, you know, it's very much like she is just one of these really, really incredible artists who has a vision. And I'm really excited to see what her full vision is for like an entire album, and such a legendary album as well. So yes, I'm very excited. But before we get into the video, if you're new to the channel, then make sure to subscribe for all these kinds of reactions. I do a variety of different artists on the channel, but it's all from the perspective of somebody, me, who loves to make music and loves to really dig into the music, the lyric, the meaning, the production, all that kind of thing as I listen. So if that sounds interesting to you, then make sure to click on the subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. And if you're a big fan of the channel, make sure to check out the Patreon, because I have a number of special things going on there, including early access for Patreon members, uncut videos for Patreon members, and the ability to actually request reactions from me via Patreon. So yeah, if you want all that kind of cool stuff and you want all that extra content from me, then you can get that through the Patreon. The link is in the description for you. Yay. Yeah, let's do this. Oh, okay, so Running Up the Hill is song number 1. If you want to check out my first reaction to Running Up That Hill, the link is somewhere for you. But it wouldn't be a Hounds of Love reaction if I didn't actually listen to it again here. So let's listen to it. Let's listen to it in context of the album. I think that's always really important for me. And it is the first song, so let's go. I'll probably just sing along. So I was so almost there. Today, the day I'm filming is actually the day that the final 2 episodes of Stranger Things comes out. So I'm trying to avoid spoilers because it's Pride weekend and I'm not going to get to see it till Sunday. It doesn't hurt me. Yeah. Do you want to hear about the deal we're making? This is actually my top played song of June. I'm so basic, I'm sorry. If I only could, I'd make a deal with God. I love the shushy instrument. I was listening to a podcast about the song actually, and apparently it's like some Russian folk instrument that she used to create that texture. She's doing this shit in the 80s, and using like cutting edge synths as well. It's amazing, really. So it's interesting what this song is actually about, because I don't think that necessarily is what the legacy of the song actually is, Oh yeah. It's kind of amazing because although it does sound 80s, it doesn't sound dated at all, does it? I think that's kind of a testament to how like futuristic like Kate Bush actually kind of was, because it has the sounds of the 80s, the gated snares, the Linn drums, the fake sounding synths, but unlike a lot of 80s stuff now, it doesn't sound dated and cheesy, Be running up that hill with no problems, if I only could be running up that hill. She also did like the pitch shift vocodary stuff before anybody else did, like having a pitch shift moment on the hook of your song to kind of create this kind of horrific kind of sound is something that was predicting future trends. You know, pitch shifts in hooks are like so like overdone now at this point. Do you know what I mean? But she was doing it like 37 years ago, you know. Yeah, it's mad. Oh god, it's just such a good song. I've just been listening to it so much. I love it. Yeah, like in terms of the meaning, right? So my first interpretation was like that she was talking to maybe someone who was sick and she wanted to take on their pain, that kind of thing. And like a lot of people in the comments, and after I kind of read up on it and whatever, it seems as if Kate's original vision when she was writing the song was this idea that she wanted to swap places with someone of the opposite gender so they could understand each other's position. And I think it's interesting that like actually the legacy of the song doesn't necessarily actually represent that message as much as, you know, maybe she thought when she first said it. But I think that's kind of like, that is kind of how music works. And like, she has also said like, yeah, that was what I meant when I originally wrote it, but it's kind of in the hands of the fans, you know, it means whatever it means to you. And that's like part of my ethos in this channel, is that like, I listen to a song and I give you my interpretation, and I know that it's not going to be maybe exactly correct, but I kind of believe there is no correct, because actually it's down to the listener to interpret in whatever the way they want, you know. And you can try and lead people on a journey and a story, but at the end of the day, they're going to feel how they feel. And that's based on a hugely complex, you know, myriad of different things, you know, from each individual person's life. So it still has that emotional weight to me of wanting to swap places with somebody, like in order to relieve them of pain or something. So yeah, anyway, that's what I think about that. Right, okay, let's move swiftly on to the next song. This is The Hounds of Love, the title track. This is another really big played song from Kate Bush, but I don't think I've heard, though my housemate was like, oh, you'll know. Like, when you hear it, you'll know. So maybe I've heard it. I don't know. I don't think I have. Anyway, this is number 2. This is Hounds of Love.
It's in the trees.
Oh.
It's coming.
When I was a child.
Oh, okay. Oh. I love it.
What's good for me?
I don't know what's good for me. I love the pace of it. Oh,
Through the trees.
it's got, again, a sense of running to it, hasn't it? I love it. All of it's got this driving pace. Amazing. Oh, I love this. I love the strings. The strings are really dry, and like in comparison to the kind of the synthetic drums and stuff, it gives like a real raspy texture, which I think is really important to kind of give you this real tactile sense of running.
I never know what's good for me.
Falling in love with the wrong person, maybe. Coming for me through the trees. Wow. She's running and she's asking for help, like. Yeah. Take your shoes up and throw them in the lake. Wow, amazing. I loved that. I love that. Like, it just had such a real feeling of running, didn't it? It was the and it kind of, that then follows on from Running Up That Hill, obviously, because it's called Running Up the Hill, which kind of has it all, like both the songs have that kind of movement to them, and so much of that is created with this kind of real kind of dry tactile texture leveling in terms of the production, using a lot of gated reverb so the space doesn't get too full. And obviously that's a very 80s thing to do, to use a gated reverb. Although it's reverb heavy, it still sounds dry, especially like, yeah, the strings. I think it almost makes your body want to kind of move with it, you know? So good. And I love where the harmony went and everything. Anyway, yeah, beautiful. Let's have a look at the lyrics.
It's in the trees.
I wonder what that sample is. Maybe it must be from a movie. It's in the trees, it's coming, so there's something. There's like a monster coming for her. When I was a child, running in the night, afraid of what might be, hiding in the dark, hiding in the street, and of what was following me. The hounds of love are hunting. I've always been a coward. I don't know what's good for me. It seems to be like she's kind of fairly literally telling a story of somebody running from a monster and like taking your shoes off, throwing them in the lake so you can run faster, you know, that kind of thing. Oh, okay, so what's she actually running from? This feels like it's a metaphor for like, because she's ashamed of running away from something. Oh, okay, so it's like from nothing real, right? Okay, so the hounds of love seem to maybe represent her fears heading into adulthood and heading into, you know, maybe like relationships with other people. Maybe she's afraid that if she'll love, then she'll kind of have to let people go and grieve as well. I don't know, there's some sense of like she's running away from things that she's like worried about, not actual real things, and she's kind of ashamed about running away from them because maybe she thinks that she should be running towards them. I need love. I need your love. Take your shoes off and throw them in the lake. Do you know what I really need? I need love. Maybe she's scared of falling in love, but she admits to herself that she actually needs it. But anyway, yeah, I love the kind of story of the building up of this, like, running from a monster, running from the hounds, built up on so many different layers of production technique that really gives it that feeling, that sense, that energy. It was like she kind of, like, distilled the story, then created all of the production stuff around it, which is just a production style that is completely inspiring for me because, like, I love storytelling through music production, and that is what she's doing, you know. Okay, let's go to the next song. This is song number 3. This is The Big Sky. Ooh. Oh. I love the kind of size of the songs. They're so epic. Nice. With big optimism, you know, looking into the sky and just being like, oh, the world's my oyster. That bass is very 80s, isn't it? Oh, nice. Oh, love it. You never understood me, you never really tried. Oh, I love this. Oh, amazing. All the instruments gonna come together for this thing. It's really forceful. Oh, I love this. You just wait now. All of my songs from now on are going to be Kate Bushy. Oh. I just love the energy that she's creating here. It's just so optimistic, isn't it? You know, but again has a sense of running, you know. Oh, I'm just getting like a vision of just running through the fields, you know, up a hill, running up a hill, fucking hell, and just like being like, oh, the world's my oyster, like the sun is shining, and I love it. I love the layered vocals here as well. Oh, that vocal riff, oh, wow, oh, I love it. I just love the sense of emotion and energy that she manages to portray with each song in the way it's, in the instrumentation and the production of it. It's just amazing. Because, like, actually, like, the lyric is fairly simple, it seems. It just seems to be that she's focusing on a feeling and just throwing all of her energy at portraying that feeling within a song, from everything to her vocal delivery, to, you know, the layered production, to her choices in reverbs, to her choices in like drum sounds, to her choices in like backing vocal stuff. It's all comes together to create just such a strong feeling that you don't even necessarily need to look up the lyrics to really get a sense of what she's trying to do. And I think that's kind of something that I really felt with the first Discovery video. It just felt like her portrayal of the emotion of the song was just so instinctual. Like, oh, it's so incredible and so inspiring to listen to as somebody who just loves to write music and to portray like stories and emotion through music. This is where it's at, you know? Like, oh my God. Beautiful. I love it so much. Everyone watching this video is going to be like, Jesus Christ, he's talking about a 37-year-old album as if it's like, you know, revolutionary. I mean, it is. So she's looking out at the sky and she's kind of, I guess she's pondering like how, she's saying, you never really understood me, you never really tried. So maybe she's kind of reframing her kind of this situation with another person where they didn't understand, they didn't support who she was. But now she's in a place where she has confidence and she has optimism and she is happy being who she is, and she's looking out at the big sky and thinking, this is me, this is who I'm going to be. You know, it doesn't matter that they didn't believe in me, I believe in myself. Because we're leaving with the big sky, baby, we're leaving with the big sky. Okay, if all the other songs were about running and this one's about flying, it's like she's been running and now she's taking off. I love it. Amazing, stunning, incredible. What else am I supposed to say? It's amazing, I love it. How have I never listened to this album before? Let's go to the next song. This is another song before. This is Mother Stands for Comfort. Lynn drums. Oh. Ooh, okay. Oh, a bit smoother. Nice. Everything in the way that she uses drums is totally non-typical for like creating a groove in a pop song. But it's so brilliant in creating her own mood and creating her own story. Is that like a theremin or something? I thought the sounds of like breaking glass and stuff, again, really textural. Cool. It's a little bit spookier. You think a song called Mother Stands for Comfort would have a bit more of a, like, comforting energy, but it doesn't have that, does it? It's a bit more choppy and dark, foreboding. So maybe, like, it's quite cynical of a mother figure, maybe her own mother. The mother is supposed to stand for comfort, maybe. Ooh. Some of those, like, backing vocal moments are really distressed. That one really, she was really experimenting with the drum machine, wasn't she? That one really felt like she was kind of like pushing the boundaries of like the sounds that she could get out of the machine, you know? Yeah, a very different vibe. Definitely more kind of like, has a bit more of a trip to it. As in like, as a stumbling kind of rhythm, you know? Yeah, and definitely more like atmospheric, spooky sounding. Cool. Again, like really taking you into the story, you know. She knows that I've been doing something wrong. She won't say anything if she thinks that I was with my friends yesterday, but she won't mind me lying because mother stands for comfort. Mother will hide the murderer. So obviously a lot of her inspiration from her songs seems to come from movies, books, poems and things. And this could be one of those. So from that perspective, maybe she's like the perspective of like a teenager maybe, who is really acting out and feels like she can act out and do all this kind of crazy shit because mother will comfort me and back me up even if I'm a murderer. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe the murderer is representing some kind of darkness within Kate, because it breaks the cage and fear escapes and takes possession. Just like a crowd rioting inside, make me do this. Maybe she is talking about puberty and how like the kind of hormones within you kind of make you do things that are very out of your character, make you kind of act out. Very interesting kind of perspective. Yeah, it does seem to be like talking about how mothers will do anything for their children. Yeah, I mean, let me know what your interpretation is of all these songs, because like, as I said, like every song ever made is open to the interpretation of the listener. And so, yeah, I'd love to hear what yours is. Let's go on to song number 5. This is Cloudbusting. So now I heard this one in my discovery video, but I kind of like understood something very different from it because I didn't know what it meant before. So it'd be quite interesting to listen to it again. I love the strings so much. My landlady actually was like, oh, did you listen to that Cloud one about the kid and the dad who was trying to create rain or something who got arrested? I was like, that's what it's about? Yeah, then everyone in the comments was saying, oh, it's based on a book and yeah, it's cool. Again, has movement to it, doesn't it? That seems to be a real kind of focus for her. Maybe she was in a place where she felt like she needed to run, and that was the energy that she was pouring into all of these songs, you know? It's gonna happen. I think that's kind of an interesting thing, because I remember like in lockdown, I wrote a few songs. Like I wasn't particularly productive, but all the stuff that I did manage to actually write was all to do with running, escaping, moving, breaking free of things. You know, and I think that like if you are in that kind of headspace, it does kind of go through everything you write, you know. So maybe that's kind of where she was, how she felt. Her inspiration for her songs and how they kind of come from really weird and unique places is so inspiring, because I think like there's a pressure to kind of write songs from your own perspective and about your own life. And I've often thought, like, what do you write about when you're happy, you know? But this is what you can do, you know, you can just find inspiration anywhere. It's really inspiring. The introduction of the kind of marching drums here really is an interesting thing to bring in so late, you know, but it does like continue the tension of the song, continue ramping it up, and again it has movement to it, doesn't it? So this one's more of a march than a run, you know. It kind of like, the marching kind of has like two kind of meanings to it, I think. In terms of the context of the perspective of the song, there's optimism, right? Marching towards something. But in terms of the perspective of like her father, you know, it kind of almost sounds like he's being marched away, you know? I don't know whether she thought of that, but that kind of, for me, kind of resonates in two different ways, you know? Very interesting piece of music. Again, like, it's all about that kind of feeling. And for me, like, this one is like defiant optimism, you know? It's like a lot of bad shit seems to have happened to this kid and their father's been taken away, like they don't know what's going to happen and whatever, but still there's like this relentless feeling of optimism through the whole song. And I think that's kind of the key emotion that Kate was really trying to portray, because it always comes back to, I just know something good is going to happen, you know? I just know something good is gonna happen. Okay, let's go on to the next song. This is And Dream of Sheep. A slow ballad.
If they find me racing white horses, let me sleep.
Let me sleep.
Come here with me.
Ooh, I love all those little like samples there. It creates such an atmosphere, doesn't it? It sounds really cinematic. Maybe it's like all the different dreams that this person's going through as they sleep. It seems to be like samples of like the sea and samples of like, you know, spaceships and stuff, or, you know, like intercom and, you know, that kind of, you know. Wow, that sound is so cool. Okay, we're on a new song. I was very confused then. I was like, wow, where are we going? I was sorry, I was completely lost in it. I was almost asleep. Maybe that's the point of the song, is that it like sends you off to sleep so you can dream of sheep. I loved that. That was like so, I love to kind of frame a kind of piano ballad with such experimental sampling, because it really kind of like seemed to layer up all these different, well, it felt like different dreams that were going on. Do you know what I mean? It was beautiful. Yeah, it really gave this like sense of like peace and like getting lost within your thoughts and stuff, you know? And that's exactly what happened to me as I'm listening to it, you know? Let's have a look at the lyrics. A little light shining, I like to guide them to me. My face is all lit up. They find me racing white horses. They'll not take me for a boy, let me be weak, let me sleep, let me dream of sheep. I can't keep my eyes open, I wish I had my radio, I'd tune into some friendly voices, talking about stupid things, I can't be left to my imagination. I'm not 100% sure what it's about. To me it's almost like somebody is maybe in a coma or something. That's kind, I don't know why, but that's kind of the feeling I get. And it's like, let me be weak, just let me rest. You know, I've gone through so much, like I just need to rest. And it's saying, you know, I'll wake up for certain things, I wish I had my radio, you know, I wish I had ways in which I could make myself feel better, because if I'm just left it to my own imagination, I'm gonna spiral. Maybe it's about depression and anxiety. Their breath is warm and they smell like sleep. They said they take me home like poppies heavy with the seed. They take me deeper and deeper. I just love the poetry of it. It's stunning and like really like encapsulates that feeling of like drifting off, you know. Amazing, love it. Okay, let's go on to the next song. This is song number 7. This is Under Ice. Ooh, drama. Seagulls is there again. So this does seem to follow on from the previous song. God, it's quite dark, isn't it?
So wide, frozen over on the ice, only me.
On my own on the ice. This is really dark. Cutting out little lines in the ice. Wow. Sounds like a thunderstorm. This is like a horror movie. Under ice. Oh god, it's got a real sense of like horror to it. It's like Jaws, isn't it? Maybe the Jaws soundtrack was inspired by this. Oh. Under ice, splitting. Scary. This has definitely taken a turn, this album. There's a lot of optimism earlier on, and now we're full on in horror mode. It's wonderful, everywhere so white, the river has frozen over, not a soul on the ice, only me skating fast. There's something moving under the ice. Whoa. Trying to get out of the cold water, someone help them. Oh shit. Whoa. I wasn't expecting a freaking horror movie in the middle of the album. Like, she's really like encapsulated that like such a sense of foreboding. You know, it sounds like a movie soundtrack. It sounds so cinematic, like, and like I'm just picturing this little girl out on the ice, like skating around, like not knowing that kind of there's a monster under the water, like following her, you know? Yeah, creepy. Under ice. But then it seems to allude to it not actually being a monster, but somebody that needs help. It's me. Oh, I didn't read the things in the parentheses. So it's like this kind of subliminal cry for help, you know? Yeah, there's something under the ice, what is it, you know? But actually it's me. Maybe it's this kind of like double-layered meaning of like, you know, I'm afraid of myself, I'm afraid of what I could do. And that's why it's quite so foreboding and scary, because on the outside you're just skating around on top of the ice, but underneath the surface there's a darkness, and maybe that's what she's scared of. This is so good. Okay, let's go on to the next song. This is song number 8. This is Waking the Witch.
Wake up.
Cough. Oh god, the wake up is freaky, horrible. And also, like, if I listen to it all the way through under that like tension building.
Wake up, man.
Wake up, child. Come on. Wake up.
The oh my god, I can't cope. My brain is breaking. Sounds like binaural. The piano is so beautiful and emotive, and yet like the samples are so creepy.
Who's here to see you?
Wow. Oh, fucking hell. Oh my god. What the f***? Jesus, I was not fucking ready for that. Oh. Wake up. Oh my god. Wow. God, the way she's treated her voice there is so cool. It's like someone trapped in the Matrix. This is terrifying. Okay. This sounds like a kind of like horror movie villain. It sounds like Vector. I love all the sounds she's using. That's so freaky. Okay, this is a lot. Jesus. See, this song more sounds like it inspires Stranger Things. You know, in terms of like the actual sound of Stranger Things. Wake up. Oh my god. I was not ready for that. Jesus, I thought the one before was horrific. That was scary. That's genuinely terrifying. God. Okay, let's recover. I feel like with that, she's almost like creating the cinematic horror movie tropes that like persisted since that time. And I think like, you know, now with Stranger Things being a thing and the link to Kate Bush and all that kind of stuff being around right now, it just makes me think like actually the guys who created the soundtrack, their inspirations must have come from, I feel like this part of Kate Bush is what they must have been inspired by, because it has just it's so cinematic and so terrifying, isn't it? And it's a real testament to what you can do with sound design, and like it really fucking lost you into a false sense of security. Like I was like drifting off, you know, and then and it's like so effective. Like, oh my god, it's so good, amazing. Like I'm broken. The creativity there and the playfulness to be like, I'm gonna make myself sound like a monster and I'm gonna freak out the listeners as much as I can. The other thing is this. It seems to be that like throughout the album there's like a bit of a focus on being asleep and waking and like maybe the dimension in between. It kind of really does kind of sit within a lot of horror tropes, doesn't it? You know, like thinking Stephen King and the book Insomnia, which is all about like this place in between being awake and being asleep, and you know, Stranger Things and Freddy Krueger, you know, things like attacking you, monsters attacking you through your sleep and through visions and stuff. It's like, it seems to be like all that all kind of seems to be in the same group of like storytelling, and maybe that is like something that she's really trying to create with this album, is a sense of like when you're at your most vulnerable, when you're asleep, that's when things can kind of get you. Yeah, she's really playing around with this idea of like hidden darkness, foreboding feelings, running away from things, fear of not being able to see things, like things under the ice, things in the woods behind you that are chasing you. Maybe it's synonyms for things inside you that are dark and coming out, and it feels like in Waking the Witch that those things are all actually really coming out, you know. It's really cool. Like, you must wake up. So there's all different things, kind of different ways in which we say wake up child, wake up man, you must wake up, this is your early morning call. The piano in that first section was really did lull you into a false sense of security, because it was so soft and beautiful and like warm and like kind of melancholy. So for it to like just jump into this scary thing was really effective, and it's all just seems to be like, wake up, you need to wake up, you need to get up and run. Basically, it's almost like someone's like asleep and something's coming for them and they're like, wake up, you need to go, like there's a monster coming for you. Yeah, I'm not sure what any of that, all of that means. It's like there's so many kind of like crazy things getting said at the end, like, what say you, good people? Guilty. Oh, so it sounds like a witch hunt, you know. Maybe there's somebody like trying to get her to wake up, trying to get her to run, because like there are people coming after her. Maybe it's like the beginning of the song is when she's asleep, and then that bit where it really kicks off and is scary is she wakes up and she's in trouble and she has to run for her life, you know. So cool. It's so cool. I love it. It's amazing. I've never heard anything like it. Wake up. I'm so freaked out by that. It's so great. Okay, let's go to the next one before we spend all our time talking about that one song. This is Watching You Without Me. Okay. This particular drum machine does remind me of Prince, you know. Definitely a more settled feeling after the previous song. If this is lulling me into a false sense of security just to blow my ears off again, I'm not going to be happy. Sure what she's saying. Oh. Is that like Morse code? This one definitely seems like a bit of a tonic after the kind of drama of the previous songs, doesn't it? She certainly has everything on this album. It does feel like there's a real balance in terms of the energy. I think like you got to be careful, I think, when it comes to creating an album, that you create a bit of light and shade. The seagulls, huh? Maybe they remind her of like home or something. There's a significance there, isn't there? Ooh. Sounds like, help me, I'm stuck in the computer. That was definitely very different. I really liked the kind of mood that it put me in though. Do you know what I mean? Like, made me really kind of a bit meditative and a little bit like, I think when it comes to like an album track listing, like some albums, it can be quite easy to just get lost in the emotion of it all and stop providing light and shade. And I think it is important, although like you want albums to sound cohesive, I think it is important to have like a journey when it comes to like the different energies that you're taking the listener through, you know? You can't hear me, you can't hear me, you can't hear what I'm saying. So Watching You Without Me, so she's gone out and is kind of thinking about the person at home waiting for them and what they're thinking, you know. You can't hear what I'm saying, you can't hear what I'm saying to you. I should have been home hours ago, but I'm not here. You can't hear me, you can't feel me, I'm in the room with you now. Oh, she's a ghost. She's a ghost. She's haunting him. It's like this couple, maybe. Like, Kate's gone out and died and has returned as a ghost to kind of see what her partner is like without her there. You don't hear me come in. Help me, baby. Help me. Talk to me. Listen to me. Maybe it's about, like, being in, like, a stale relationship where, like, she feels like she could be a ghost and it wouldn't make any difference. She's trying to tell them all these things, and, you know, she's trying to say to them, you know, like, listen to me, help me, but they're not listening. And maybe that's what she's telling a story of, like, a ghost, but actually, like, the kind of metaphor there is kind of one of a relationship that maybe is breaking down or something. I like that. It's cool. I need to pause because my stomach is grumbling. Okay, let's go on to song number 10. This is Jig of Life. Got fiddles out. Ooh. We're in Ireland. But it's kind of minor. Love it. I love that she's taken what is usually like a really major, like, you know, like an Irish jig, and made it minor. Makes it kind of feel kind of witchy, you know. Whoa.
Doesn't belong to you. My little line when you're written in mine is known.
Love the rhythm. Wow. Come on and let me live. God, it is dark, hey. Major. Now she's taking it right to Ireland. I feel like I'm in a tavern with my mead. Amazing. Oh, I love this. It's like almost like the war drums and stuff in the background as well. This is amazing. I love this so much. It's such a cool build-up. It's like taking something that's really jolly and making it really intense.
I put this moment here. Put this moment here.
Still going. Because she likes whispering in your ear, doesn't she? Jesus Christ.
Tripping on the water like a laughing girl. Mine in her eyes is the
What's this poem? This is f***ing incredible.
when the life spray cools. From now on the
Okay, chills all over my body.
the going water and the gone.
Wow.
And all that's to come.
It's like everyone's coming together and it's like, Whoa. Wow. 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 I was not expecting an Irish jig song. Like, incredible. To take an Irish jig, something so traditional and so kind of rooted in, like, a lot of cinematic storytelling as well, to take it to a place that is... Take it to many places. It kind of starts off quite kind of minor. It's quite ambiguous in terms of its like the where it sits musically, and then there are moments where it reveals itself to be quite minor. I think the melody is kind of what makes you think, oh, okay, this is actually a minor and not major. And then there's every so often it goes and gets all really clashy as well. So it's like taking something, yeah, like an Irish jig, which is usually really major, really bright, really happy, and taking it somewhere that is moody, ambiguous, slightly foreboding, slightly creepy, but with a real sense of intention. And then it goes into that bright jig place in the middle eight, and then slowly almost returns back to this like drama. There was that weird middle bit where I can't even remember what she was saying now, but I'll look up the lyrics in a sec, and it just keeps going and going and going and going and going until it returns back to what it was at the beginning again. Oh, it's just so cool. It's honestly like, I mean, I can't believe I haven't heard this album before. This is a bit ridiculous. It is just genius. It's incredibly inspired, so creative and so interesting. And it's 37 years later, and I feel like nothing I've ever heard has ever sounded like this. Mind-boggling. Yeah. Let's have a look at the lyrics. Hello, old lady. I know your face well. I know it well. She says, oh, na 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 na. I'll be sitting in your mirror. I'll be sitting in your mirror. Now is the place where the crossroads meet. Will you look into the future? Come on, let me live, girl. Maybe she's looking at death. That seems to be looking at family, lineage, you know, being old and kind of being replaced. You're written in my palm as an old memory. You know, it seems to be contemplating death and time and things moving on. And it's called the Jig of Life, right? So maybe it's like, you know, this is at the end. But, like, she doesn't want to go, does she? Can't you see where the memories are kept bright, tripping on the water like a laughing girl? Time in her eyes is spawning past life. One with the ocean and the woman unfurled, holding all the love that waits for you here. Catch us now, for I am your future. A kiss on the wind, and we'll make the land. Oh my God, come over here to where, when lingers, waiting in this empty world, waiting for then, where the life spray cools, and now does ride in on the curl of the wave, and you will dance with me in the sunlit pools. And all that's to come runs in with the thrust on the strand. These lyrics are just otherworldly. They're so non-specific. It's almost like they're kind of dancing around the specific meaning of the song in order to kind of create a sense of tension and something's, you know, this sense of foreboding, something's coming, something, maybe death is coming, maybe looking at like what happens after you die, and like, you know, going with the wind and going with the land and becoming one with the earth and all this stuff. It's stunning. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Oh my God. How have I not listened to this album? Okay, let's go on to the penultimate song. This is song number 11. This is Hello Earth. So we're on a flight. I love the use of the samples. This is completely up my street.
Out of sight, just my heart and my mind. I get out of my car, into the night, right, traveling the fun, just look at it go.
Wow, it feels like we're being like in awe of the hugeness of the world, you know. Oh, where are we now? Wow. It's like a really mournful choir. This album is like a piece of cinema. Get out of the water. There's a sense of like moving forward, moving on, isn't there? Oh my God. Like every single hair on my arm. Obviously you can't see. I need an HDR camera. Wow. Musically so weird. This is quite a long one, huh? That string kind of coming out is like the sun rising over the earth, isn't it? Oh my God. This is f***ing incredible. Ooh. Oh. The horror's coming again. What's she saying? Wow. Go to sleep, little earth. Oh, Jesus Christ. The next song. Oh my God. That was such a kind of incredibly cinematic soundscape just to lose yourself in, you know? Had a feeling of like, I really kind of sense that feeling of looking over the earth, you know, maybe if you're in a spaceship and you're looking at the kind of the round of the earth and seeing the sunrise over the crest of the earth, and it being this most kind of beautiful thing, but so awe-inspiring that you feel so small. That was the vision I got, you know, so incredible. And like the movement into the kind of like almost like the choir musically was kind of jarring. It really took it out of where it was and took it somewhere completely different and very meditative. A lot of this reaction is giving me up. I'm not sure what it was in German at the end. So let's have a look at the lyrics. Just with one hand held up high, I can blot you out of sight, peekaboo little earth. With just my heart and my mind, I can be driving home. and you asleep on the seat. I get out of my car, step into the night and look up at the sky. Watching storms start to form over America. I can't do anything, watch them swing with the wind out to sea. It's kind of like the power of the earth, you know? The kind of juxtaposition between putting your hands over your eyes and the entirety of the earth being gone from your vision, but also how huge and overwhelmingly big it is and how powerful it is with the weather and storms and tempests, you know. Yeah, it just seems to be, yeah, like a real kind of meditative song where she's just contemplating the size of the earth and the power of it and her place within it. You know, it's extremely existential. I think that's like probably the most kind of common theme of this album is this kind of existentialism, contemplating her life, death, awake, sleep, the things within her, the fears outside of her. It's big. Okay, before we go into the last song, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you like this video. I do all this sort of content. This is basically exactly what I love to do. I also make all my own music, so if you want to listen to that, actually it's kind of Kate Bushy without even realising. Like, I use a lot of sampling, I use a lot of creative storytelling. My album that I made is all that kind of thing, and I made it all on my own, and yeah, I'm feeling quite justified by listening to this album because it really does, like, seems like Kate's, you know, approach to making music was so much of what I wanted to do, you know. So yeah, make sure to check out my album, the link's in the description. You might like it. And if you want to check out next week's reaction, now you can do that by going on Patreon and pledging to the second tier or up, and you get to watch the videos uncut and a week ahead of everybody else. Next week's video is Charlie XCX, I think, which is a bit random, but yeah, I'm reacting to How I'm Feeling Now by Charlie XCX, so that reaction is out on Patreon now, and will be up on YouTube next week. This has been an incredible journey. This might be one of the best albums I've ever heard. Let's go to the final song. This is The Morning Fog. Different vibe already. Definitely more optimistic. Oh yeah, we're going back to the energy of the beginning. Oh, it's like she's made it through the night and here she is, awake. Oh. Wow. Nice. Sorry, I'm just completely lost in it. This is not good reaction because I'm just like... This definitely feels like a healing song, doesn't it? It's like finally coming out about something, isn't it? You know? Wow. Oh. That one really just was such tonic, wasn't it? Again, like, it really felt like she was like really taking it somewhere really deep and contemplative, and then just was like, oh, wake up, I'm awake, I can see the wood for the trees, in the light of day things are clearer, I understand things. It's like the whole album has taken place through like a darkness, and this last song was when she was waking up, and oh my god, it felt really revitalizing to have that song at the end. I just adored it. Oh, this is life-changing, this fucking album. Honestly, I don't know how to put this into words. Like, I feel like this is the album I've been searching for my whole life. That sounds dramatic, but like, in so many ways, it feels like she's justifying my own songwriting process. I don't know, it's giving me confidence in, like, my vision. And, like, I think that that's something that a lot of songwriters come up against, is, like, questioning their own thoughts and kind of thinking, oh, is that too weird? Is that too out there? Is that too, you know, experimental, whatever? But Kate proves with this album that you can take it to a place that is completely unexpected, that is extremely, like, forward-thinking, experimental, using instruments that, like, that people don't have access to. I've read a thing saying that she had like access to the synth that she used. It was apparently like one of like 7 in the world or something at the time. And she was like, I need that machine because this is what I want to do. This is my vision. This is what I want to create. I need to express through this music exactly what I want to do. And I want to do it in a way that is exciting and new and different and completely unique, and I want to express emotion in a way that's really like so nuanced and so like awe-inspiring, and I want to create an entire piece of work that goes through many different emotions that all balance one another out, and end up kind of having this like emotional journey of like, it felt quite tumultuous, it felt quite insistent, it felt like she was running from something, it felt like she was lost in darkness, that she was scared, she had fear, she was going to sleep and not worried that maybe she wasn't going to wake up. And then the monster really brought itself to the forefront partway through the album, and it was almost like the things were coming true and she had to escape, and she keeps going. And then there's like this moment of quiet in you know, looking at the earth and kind of meditating, and then at the end she breaks free, the night ends, the morning comes, and she's found freedom. And it's amazing, and I'm getting really emotional just talking about it because it's just so awe-inspiring, and I can't believe I've never heard it before. I feel like had I heard this when I was a kid, I might not have got it, but like, I don't know, I feel like it would have just justified like all of my kind of creative instincts, you know. I love it. I think I need to listen to it a million more times. I think it's going to be up there with the best albums of my life, you know. It feels like a watershed moment before Kate Bush and after for me. Like I can't believe I haven't dug into like music of the past before this. I think I've always been a bit like, because I love pop music so much, I'm always looking at what like the latest stuff is, what the new albums, what the new artists, and like all the artists that stuck with me are ones that I kind of grew up with and inspired me at the time, but I never really looked back. And I think maybe this is the beginning of like me looking back and finding inspiration in past musicians too, because this is just life-changing. This music is incredible. I don't know how else to put it. Make sure to let me know what other Kate Bush stuff I need to listen to, because I'm going to listen to it all. Yeah, before we finish, special thank you to my patrons in the upper tiers. Those are the guys who are pledging in the Weeping Wendy tier or the Sobbing Susan tier. Their names are appearing on the screen right now. This is one of their perks, and they get to check out music early, and also like in the Sobbing Susans you can request songs too. So yeah, if you fancy checking out, the links on the screen. And if you fancy checking out next week's reaction now, that's on Patreon as well. Amazing. I just want to go and create now. Thanks for tuning into this video. I'll see you next week for another reaction. Bye.